Shalom, shalom, shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, all praises due. Y'all still edifying? All praises. Peace and blessings and power to the Father of lights, Yahweh, and his beloved Son, Yahweh Shai. Peace and power and blessings to the royal house of King David and to those of you out there still hanging on, staying 10 toes down, squared up. All right? Let me say something, man. I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but you know what? If you here in this body, all right, if you here in this house, look, it's a shame I even got to say this. How would y'all like it? How would y'all like it, man, if I would do these lessons right, and I just come to you with some, you know, generic breakdown from some cracker, all right? It didn't give you no home cooked meal. Don't do that shit to your family. Some of y'all, man, so fucking lazy. Y'all up here, I'm hearing about this shit too. I'm like, what? Nah, especially some of you fucking priests, man. Y'all good for that shit. Trying to come with some hot water, just add hot water in the mix and mix the shit up and put it in the oven. Damn lesson, man, from some, of all places, some Christian study guide or something. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, nigga, do some research. Read, motherfucker. Don't be bringing none of these old fucking generic ass lessons and shit and shuffling them up to your wife and your kids. You know, ooh, this is the Bible. This is the Bible lesson from so and so, and here are the notes. And here, nigga, you find the notes. Well, shit, you might well have a cracker come and teach them that, and let them be Christians. All right? Don't do that shit. And if you are, get your ass out of here, you lazy motherfucker. You ain't no priest. You ain't shit. You construct the shit the way you get it. All right? That's about the third time I done heard about that shit. Ain't calling no names. Ain't calling no names. Some of y'all know who you are. Some of you kings too doing that shit. Some of these old watered down ass fucking sermons and shit. You know when I was a won't he do it, man? I had a motherfucker tell me, hey man, if you want me, I'll give you a website where I get my sermons from. I said, website? Yeah, man, you know, and the shit, it's a whole sermon typed out. All you do is read along in front of the people. That ain't from the Spirit, man. What is the Most High revealed to you? You're supposed to have a personal relationship with the Father. That means you ain't talking to him if you got to go to some Christian website to get some bullshit ass lesson. All right? You suck. All right? Put that shit down. Quit being lazy. And all you women out there reading the daily devotionals. Oh, Father Jesus, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the greens and cornbread. If you don't get your motherfucking ass out of that shit, just say you want to be a Christian. I get it. But get the fuck out of here. All right? Edify mean, all right? Look what the scriptures say. Study to show thyself approved unto the power, a workman that needed not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. You divide the word of truth. You don't let for J.R. Billingsley and none of these motherfuckers to divide the word for you. He a cracker. He getting ready to be put in slavery. Don't listen to that motherfucker. Fuck Sturgis. Fuck all of them. All right? That's how you get brainwashed. Study yourself. Get some books. Do some reading. Pray for some understanding. It says a workman needed not be ashamed. That means you got to do the work. Right? I don't know who that's for, but I hope you get it. Give it how you get it. All right? I don't do that to you. How would y'all feel if I'm cracking open some book by J.R. Billingsley or Pastor Adrian Rogers or some bullshit like that? Y'all ain't no better than a no cooking ass bitch that can't cook, bringing home McDonald's every night. Get your ass in the kitchen, right? Get your ass in the kitchen, shuck some corn, all right? Tenderize and beat some steaks, season the motherfuckers down. All right, get you some fresh vegetables. All right, make some fresh lemonade, squeeze the lemons in there. All right, add enough sugar and ice, stir the shit up, do the work. Quit coming home with some shit that started out with, would you like a drink with that? Lazy ass niggas. All right, so anyway, let's move on. They got it fussed enough. Fussed about 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, let's get on back to the book of Melchizedek. All right, chapter 3, starting at verse 12. Yes. Surely they will be victorious because they love Salem and his laws. Join the voices in an expressive song of faithfulness. At the end of the song, Adonai revealed his great secret. Those who are approved, inheriting this kingdom of peace, will receive my son as king, to whom I will give the glorified throne of this Salem Victoriosa. The revelation of the king was acclaimed by all with much joy. Adonai, who, however, had not yet revealed all his plan. So asking for silence, he continued, my son will hold a special scepter in which I will seal all the right of dominion. His scepter, symbolizing all harmony, will be a lute. That's what a scepter is. It's called a lute. It's a scepter that is unlike any other scepter, okay? It's a scepter of rulership. Before this revelation that sensitized everyone, the prince, prostrating himself at the feet of his father, cried, motivated by much joy. Meanwhile, everyone applauded him with euphoria, yearning to see the dawn of that day when peace would be victorious. Adonai, calling Samael to be with his son, concluded by saying, in the government of this victorious Salem, I have the purpose of making Samael the first after Melchizedek. The parchment of the laws will be entrusted to him, and he must be the guardian of the honor of this triumphant kingdom. All right? But you already know this shit ain't gonna work. Let me get a precept for y'all, man. Let's go to Genesis chapter 49. Verse 9. Look what it says. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? So it's saying that Judah started out small. All right? But one day Judah's going to be full grown. And the scripture is saying that who's going to be foolish enough to mess with him? That's where we at now. Judah is no longer a lion's whelp. Judah is full grown now. Look at verse 10. The scepter, the lute, the scepter, the lute, all right? The scepter, the lute shall what? Not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So the scepter, all right? The scepter shall not depart from Judah. This is what happened during the time of Melchizedek in Salem. And that lute, that scepter, was given to somebody that shouldn't have had it. Samael. And we're going to show you what he did with it. All right? Going back to the book of Melchizedek, the history of Salem, verse 18, chapter 3. In the government of this victorious Salem, I have the purpose of making Samael the first after Melchizedek. The parchment of the laws will be entrusted to him, and he must be the guardian of honor of this triumphant kingdom. Now, look what happens when, I want to show y'all something. I got to take this time to expound on this here. Look what happens when you give somebody, the only one that should have been wielding that scepter was who? Melchizedek. All right. But the father had looked for somebody under Melchizedek to have a subordinate, right? Under Melchizedek. So Samael, what did he do? He came in and he played the role until he got all the way in, and then he started, performing his wickedness. That's what he did. Right? Did that story sound familiar? What happened here? All right. Me trying to extend some love to a subordinate. All right. What happened? They ended up getting the scepter of rulership here under myself over y'all. And what did they do? We had 2 men do that. 2. And what happened to them? One is dead, and one is eternally thrown the fuck out of here. No names need to be mentioned because you already know who I'm talking about. But this is what happens, all right? So I'm just trying to show you that there's nothing new under the sun. They got in good with me, got me to trust them, got me to think that they were godly men, all right? Like I was hoping they were. And then once they got that power, once they got that authority, what happened to them? They fucked it up. It became very destructive and arrogant. See? I ain't making this up. Y'all was there. You seen it for yourself. All right? Even shook me off of my square. Had me targeting people that hadn't done nothing. This is why when the Most High appoints that man, that power is for that man and that man alone. The Most High chose you. You can't go and choose nobody else. And that's a lesson that I had to learn. All praises. All right? So, we are in Salems Story, chapter 4, starting in the epilogue. Samael lets himself be dominated by feelings of greatness and pride. See, that's what happened. When men get that scepter, they can't handle the power. They can't handle the authority. They still can't continue to lead with love because that wickedness that's in them is going to come out now. They've been hiding it. They've had it buried. All right. Samael lets himself be dominated by feelings of greatness and pride. He keeps his plans secret and tries to impose his concepts contrary to the law of parchment. Melchizedek manages to restore him to the path of humility and righteousness, but again falls to being dominated by pride and greed. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. And that's what happens. All right. Verse 1. Samael, knowing Adonai's plans for Salem's future, was filled with euphoria. He was now gazing at that city like no other, imagining his future of glory, considering the king's words, that he would be second in the kingdom. He let himself be dominated by a feeling of exaltation. He, who until then, in obedience to the laws of parchment, had lived a life of humility, began to take pride in his position. In his winding, he felt by the throne, having Salem's subjects at his feet, praising his greatness with praise. Samael, totally dominated by that feeling, did not realize that he was being driven along a dangerous road. The pride that seduced him was generating the selfishness that would later manifest in greed. See, this is what wicked men do. Verse 2. A week after the revelation of Adonai, the subjects promoted a party in homage to Melchizedek, the future king of Salem. Seeing him acclaimed for so many praises, Samael had his heart snatched away by a strange feeling of envy, the result of pride and selfishness. He could not bear the thought of being left in the background. Wasn't he as beautiful and wise as the prince? It was almost impossible to disguise such a feeling of happiness. In other words, he turned into a hater. Verse 3. In times past, Samael found indescribable pleasure in the moments when, beside the prince, he recited the laws contained in the parchment, which were transformed into beautiful songs. Now, such moments became unpleasant, for those principles contradicted their ideals. He decided, however, not to reveal his feelings of rebellion. He would support the old-fashioned parchment until, with his authority, he could exclude it from the new kingdom that would be established. Wouldn't he be the guardian of those laws that victory would seek to achieve through its influence and wisdom? Verse 4. Judging to be able to influence the son of Adonias with his dreams of greatness, Samael approached him with euphoria and began to speak to him of the glories of the kingdom of the coming of the kingdom, where the two, covered with honors, would enjoy the praises of a victorious Salem. They would be the heroes of the most perfect kingdom established among men. The delirious words of the honest subject brought concern and sadness to the young prince's heart, for they did not reflect the teachings of love and humility of the parchment. Verse 6. Seeing his intimate friend in danger, Melchizedek, with a tenderness never revealed, led him to the side of the throne where, taking the scroll, he began to read compassionately the following paragraphs. He's trying to bring this nigga around, all right? He's trying with everything he got. Salem's kingdom will be affirmed on humility, for this virtue is the basis of all true greatness. Humility is the fruit of love, being contrary to pride, which can keep a creature caught in dust, making it content with its limitations, deceiving it as if they were of infinite value. See, the devil tricks you into thinking that by being wicked and doing what you want to do, you'll live forever. That's the lie I tell you. Okay? Verse 9. Humility consists in forgetting oneself, and this in a life of selfless service for others. Samael, struggling to cover up his indignation at the reading of the scroll that was outdated for him, said to the prince in a friend's advice, "My good friend, we will reign in a victorious Salem which will shine well above this scroll, whose principles were faithfully fulfilled in these years of trial. Is not full freedom not the glorious Salem? Well, know that complete freedom will not coexist with these laws, whose objective is locked. At the end of the 5 years, it is up to us to crown Salem with the honor of total freedom, which will generate endless happiness. Such freedom is impossible to exist under the limitations of the scroll." So he's saying you can't win living like that. You can't live in peace, all right, and think everything is going to be all right. No, you got to come down. You got to do this. You got to do that. He started adding his own adjustments to what had already been established. And that's what men like that do. But all praises, see, everything written aforetime was written for our learning. This is why I run the royal house the way I do. See, in Salem, it was all peace. So when challenges came up, what did he do? He tried to handle it in a peaceful manner. But see, sin doesn't deserve peace. Sin deserves judgment. And this is why I have a dual personality. I have a dual spirit. All right? Long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, all right, you get the love, you get the attention, you get everything. But when you become a demon, you get the blade. All right? You get embarrassed, you get thrown out of here, you get cursed out. All right? You get busted all the way down, because that's what sin needs. You can't be nice to sinful people. All right? You got to crush them without mercy. And this is what Salem couldn't do. This is why under the order of Melchizedek, when Yahushua gets here, he's going to be the Prince of Peace. He's going to be the one to love you through it. He's going to be the one to never raise his hand and all of that good stuff. All right? Well, let me prove it to you. We're going to come back starting at verse 13. We'll pick up in verse 13. All right? But let's go to the scriptures. Let's go to is it Luke 9 and 27? Let's see. Luke 9 and 20. Hold on a minute, y'all. Let me find it. All right. Luke 19 and 27. It's a lot. Luke 19 and 27. Now listen to this. I want to show y'all something. All right. Luke 19. I'm going to start at verse 26. Luke 19 and 26. Now this Yahushua speaking. For I say unto you, that unto everyone which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he has shall be taken away from him. Here's the meat in verse 27. But those my enemies, this is what Yahushua say, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. Now, why did he say that? Because he's nonviolent. He's a priest. He don't believe in bloodshed. That's what we're here for. Y'all gonna get it, man. Who else gonna give you this oil, man? Who? He telling us to bring them. Those that's gonna be a problem for Yahushua, he gonna sit back with his wine in his cup. He gonna say, hey, he not listening. He's a rebel. Bring him here. Let me see you get him. I ain't gonna do it. I'm non-violent. I'm a prince of peace. But see, the house got to have judgment. That's what we here for. Me, the brotherhood, the imperial guard, the royal house. All right? Those men that y'all laugh at right now, some of y'all. That's going to be our job. We going to bring the nigga in front of Yahushua. This him? Yeah. All right. DC. Captain and LT. Cut this nigga up. And Yahushua going to be like, yeah, man, that was nice. See? Bring her here. She don't want to listen. She's a whore. She been trying to sleep with all of them in it, but bring her here. Yahushua, yeah, she not listening. This her? Yeah, all right. DC, set her ass on fire. Soak her up real good. Oof. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. See, we got mercy. We got judgment. See, Melchizedek didn't have that. This is how Samael was able to get his ass in there and fuck shit up. Right? This is how people have been expelled out of this body. Because they've come in here, try to be slick, niggas and bitches alike, and they get the blade. Right? They get cursed out, embarrassed, and thrown the fuck out. And the list is long and continuous. And I don't even know if we finished yet, you know? So, this is why it's important. So that you can't have any Samaels. There will never be anybody else under me except DC, the Deputy Commander of the Imperial Guard. All right? DC Haras, he's it. Nobody else is coming. Nobody else is going to be elevated. All right? And lateral to him, you got XO, XO2, his apprentice. And then we got the captains, LTs, and the brotherhoods on down in the lower ranks, the war chiefs and the sergeants. All right? That's what we got. That's our rank and file here. So, best believe it's going to be used and executed as needed to keep this body in check, to weed out all of the undesirables and faggots and bitch-ass niggas and bitches that try to come through here and fuck shit up so that this never happens. If you want peace, prepare for war, as the saying goes. Anyway, let's move on. Find out more about this dirty, conniving ass nigga, Samael. Picking up Salems Story, chapter 4. Pick it up in verse 12. The king's son shuddered a lot at his friend's words, which showed insanity. How to free him from the path of death. No one in Salem besides Melchizedek knew Samael's sad condition. With patience, the prince tried to make him aware of the real value of the parchment whose laws could never be altered, as this would bring about the end of all peace. Now see, Melchizedek knew that, but he's the prince of peace. He couldn't do nothing to this nigga, man. Verse 14, the prince's advice finally awakened his heart. Meditating on his words, he became aware of being following a deceptive path. Seeing in the eyes of the one who loved the tears of repentance so much, the son of Adoniah rejoiced in his victory over pride and selfishness. The days that followed the liberation were full of accomplishments. The prince was even more friendly, willing to give all of himself so that his companion could continue triumphantly on the path of humility. In those days of jubilation, he was given the honor of knowing the scepter that was being molded. So what this nigga doing is waiting on the scepter. So he playing the role. Verse 17. In a moment of carelessness, Samael, who had once again enjoyed peace in the spirit, allowed his heart to be possessed again by a feeling of greatness, which triggered a new storm in his soul. That feeling, mixed with pride and greed, came upon him when the prince showed him the golden lute on which the seal of the entire domain was being printed. So Samael saw the scepter. He fell right back into that arrogance. See, this is why you can't let wicked people back in, because it's in them. It ain't been extinguished. You let them in, they'll be good for a while, but then they'll rewind and go right back, right back to the wickedness that they used to. See, it's in them. It's in them to do. See, this is why you giving people second and third and fourth chances. It don't work, man. It don't work. That's why Yahushua said that if thy right hand cause our body to sin, cut it off and cast it far away from thee. He don't say cut it off and then try to reapply it later. No. You cut it off, you sever it, and you cast it away from you. That means you learn to do without it from then on. All right? Don't try to turn a hoe into a housewife. Can't do it. Don't try to turn a wicked person into righteous. It's not going to work. If somebody shows you who they are, believe them. All right? So that's a lesson that we can learn from Melchizedek. Bless his heart. He's a man of peace, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's why the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, be not righteous over much, for I have seen many men have their lives cut short, trying to be righteous over much. And be not over much wicked, for I have seen a man prolong his life in wickedness. But he who believes in the Most High shall come forth of them all. That means you got to have judgment and mercy. That's and I believe Ecclesiastes chapter 3, maybe around the 16th verse or not. I'm not sure. Let me see. All right. It is in Ecclesiastes. No, it's a lot. It's Ecclesiastes 7 and 16, if you want to read it. Okay, Ecclesiastes 7 and 16. So yeah. So anyway, we're moving along, family. We're in Salems Story now. We're finna hit up chapter 5 with more on Samael and Melchizedek. So y'all stay tuned. But guess what? I'm out of time. All right. So we will pick up our reading in the next video. Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Yahushai. Peace, power, and love to the Father of lights Yahweh and his blessed and beloved Son Yahushai. Peace and power to the throne of King David, and peace and blessings to you out there, royal house, sons, daughters, and the elect of Israel. All right, we're going to keep mashing on through this lesson. I'll see y'all on the next go-round. It's your King and Shepherd KD, and I'm out. Shalom.